All right. Hello, hello. I want to quick know we're just getting started here. We'll give folks a few minutes to join in as we get rolling. Just getting a few things set up for us here. If you can hear me, just type yes. You can hear me. For those who are joining us, we've got folks out on Facebook and on YouTube. Like I said, we'll give it a few minutes as we get some things organized here and get set up for the show. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Appreciate that. Knowing that the audio works, that's always the scary part, right? It's always scary when you're not sure if your video or your audio is working. So appreciate that. We'll give folks just a few minutes to get in here and then we'll start the show. The good news is I typically, within the script, I will repeat a few things. I guess script, I write things out so I don't forget, right? Getting up in age. So we'll repeat a few things as we go. So even if you join late, not a big deal. Hi, Patty from Vermont. Vermont is in the house. Excellent. That would be my next question here on where everybody's from. We'll start that off here in just a few minutes. All right, I'm just going to stack a few things over here off camera so that I'm ready to go. I'm going to show you all the things I have to show you. All right. Super. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. We've been about a minute. Like I said, we will repeat. Welcome. My name is Mark. I'm with the Fabric Hut, and we are super excited to have you here on this week's live show and tell. We're running these every other week during the summer just to show you what's new, what's coming up, talk about some kits, show you some fabrics, hopefully give you some great deals. Stay tuned. At the end of the live stream, I'll tell you how you could enter to win one of our gift cards. We're getting to a point where we're getting more people coming into our shows, and so I want to start rewarding those who show up quite a bit, just to give you a few dollars off of something that you might want to get from the shop. So stick around to the end for that, and I'll tell you how that will work. All right, so of course my main question, we're still shooting for the first live stream where we get all 50 states. So where are you from? Just type in the comments for me, and I can see those as they pop up. We've got, like I said, Patty is coming from Vermont. Judith is California, also joined by another California. Susan is here. Thank you for joining us. Lynn from Dexter, Oregon. I do know where that is, Lynn, of course, because I am in the Dalles, Oregon. One of the few cities in the United States that actually has two words and has the word "the" in front of it. So the Dalles, instead of Dallas, like Dallas, Texas, D-A-L-L-E-S, which is kind of cool. I'm on the north end of the state along the beautiful Columbia River. Beautiful day. Let's see, Sedona, Arizona. Linda, thank you. Evelyn's coming from Alabama. Yeah, last live stream we hit 31 out of the 50 states, and we picked up 3 Canadian provinces and 1 territory in Australia. So that was cool. We're in a different time slot for the second time, which is cool. We moved it back to 5 p.m. Eastern, or 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, which was a little change from our 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast and 5 o'clock on the East Coast. And so we're rocking and rolling. So obviously it's the holiday week. Tomorrow's 4th of July for those of us in the United States. I know a lot of our international customers and fans and friends will join us when they wake up on their side of the world later on today. But it is the 4th of July tomorrow, which is a really cool holiday for us. Lots of things going on. What are you planning on doing? Hopefully you're finding some time to do something that you enjoy, and hopefully with family, friends, and others. We have a parade that we have in town here. The jets are going to fly over and fireworks across the river tomorrow night. All right, seeing some more folks come in. Super excited to have you here. Francis coming in from New Mexico. Yeah, we're starting to stack up the states on this live stream, so excellent. Appreciate it. All right, so let's start with, I'm going to put a few things, get a few things rolling here, but I'm going to start with one thing. And again, please stick around to the end of the show and I'll tell you how you could win a gift card from us. But one of the things I want to talk about, and it's something that popped up a few times over the last week or so since we were last together. And I'm just going to share. I had a customer email and ask, hey, would you look at my quilt? Now, it wasn't a quilt that we sold or a pattern that we sold her. She was just curious if we thought that her quilt was good enough to go to her local county, fair. She wanted to enter it. And I said, great, it looks good. It's a really sharp looking quilt, really nice color. But, she was very apprehensive because of just the negative stuff that goes along with that. And I was also noticing on Reddit and others social media that sometimes we're just not kind to ourselves, and we're not kind to each other when we're talking about our wonderful hobby. And I just really want to just take a moment to say, hey, if you make a quilt, every quilt is beautiful. Every quilt is an expression. Do they all have to be perfectly square? And do they need to look like a professional seamstress or seamster had done that for it? No. Every quilt has value. Every quilt is made with love. Every quilt is made with intention. So as you go out there, don't be afraid to post your quilt, your next or your latest creation. Don't be afraid to put that out there. And when you see something, if you don't like it, don't comment, right? We all have our own preferences. I like certain colors, I don't like other colors. But unless somebody's asking for help, be kind. I guess that's the thing. And that's just one of those things I really wanted to start off with, because it just kind of broke my heart to hear someone say that, they were afraid to enter or they're afraid to post online because quotes weren't great, or some comments weren't great about the quotes. So anyways, I just one of those things, just a little PSA, just as a community. I know we've got a great group on our Facebook page, but just help others out, encourage them to share and love this hobby that we all love. All right, so moving on, I'm just seeing some new folks come in. Jane's coming in from Texas, Tracy from Massachusetts, Phyllis is in New Jersey. We are racking up the states today. All right, other question that came in from last stream on YouTube, it was, hey, do you even sew? I'm a guy, right? I do. I am actually working on prairie flowers. I have 27 of these. I'm getting ready to press and start the assemble. I have 27 rows of these right now to finish. So yes, I do. I am here with you, sharing our love, sharing our products. But yes, I do, in fact. So I'll share that. That was just a question from the last string. All right, moving on. Today's kit is the Kaleidoscope. Hopefully you saw that mentioned earlier, and maybe you've seen this one on some of the postings, but this is the Kaleidoscope Stars quilt. It's a really fun quilt. We're going to break it down here in just a moment. I'm going to come to the other side, and we're going to turn the camera down, and we're going to really take a look at all the fabrics that are inside. We'll talk about some of the assembly. So the big question, right? First of all, what do you think of this quilt? This kit pre-cut, ready to go. What are you thinking? The sharp, I think it's more traditional, right? It's got the stars. So it could be it's a really cool little quilt. So let's talk about price before we get started. So I'm going to drop a link in here. This is your special page to buy this kit if you would like to. And of course, never any pressure to buy, but it's here for you. I'm going to put that in. This kit is on sale right now for $138 through the stream. $138 plus your shipping, and it will be on its way to you. I don't think we'll ship things out tomorrow because of the holiday, but we will absolutely get this out to you on the next business day. Normal price for this one is $184, so we do have about a 25% discount. The size is 60 by 75 inches, so it is your throw size. Okay, so that is the price and that is the size. Now, a lot of times people say, well, I don't want to make just a throw. I want to make a larger quilt. Well, the good news is you can absolutely do that, and we cover that for you. This one is a little bit more of a challenge when you are trying to make it larger, okay? Most of our kits, we would say just buy a queen. To make a queen, you'd buy 2 kits. You want to make a king. This one is counted up, so you would just buy an extra kit, and then you would decide based on the dimensions on how large you really wanted to go, okay? Let's talk a little bit about the kit itself. Of course, with your kit, you get your instructions. You also have your coloring page. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Now, did everybody see the link? I want to make sure that that showed up. I saw one little green arrow. Everybody see the link? Did it all show up in the chat for you? Hopefully it did. If not, I'm going to drop another banner in for us right here. Here we go. Make sure that banner runs for us here. There it is. Hopefully you can see it. And let's get it to scroll for us. All right. Cool. All right. Back to the show here. All right. No link. All right. I'm going to drop it here again. And we can get that to pop up for you in chat. Okay. All right. So again, with the kit, you get your instructions, you get your coloring page if you want to start to break that down. We'll talk a little bit about colors, but right now I want to get into the kit itself and to the fabric. So I'm going to set that down. I'm going to come around. We're going to tilt the camera forward so we get a closer view. And then we'll take a look at this kit. I'll move us a little closer. And we're going to drop us down a little bit. There we go. All right. So I'm not going to pull everything out of the kit, but I am going to pull out the larger pieces, which are the large 6-inch half triangles here. And we're going to kind of go through the fabric. Now, the great thing about a pre-cut kit is the fact that you get everything pre-cut for you. Okay, it's all coming in your pieces. When you need your white triangles, those are coming. Your small triangles are already here. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the details of that as we go. But even these hard to cut pieces are already pre-cut for you. Take a look at that. So they're already ready. You don't have to worry about measuring, fussing around with getting it just right. Everything's ready to go. Clean and crisp edges for you. And everything's ready to assemble. So when you get a kit from us, here are the other smaller triangles. And I don't know about you, but triangles stress me out sometimes when I'm trying to cut them all. Okay. Kind of stress me out at times. And then, of course, we have the binding fabric. We always send you with binding and also your backing as well with the kit. But having these things pre-done is super helpful. It means you're going to sew right away, right out of the bag, right out of the mailbox. You could go to assembly with our kits right away. And that's what's really cool. So I'll just kind of flip us through a little bit. Of course, we've got this nice plaid here to start. Okay. And we've got this weave here. I kind of call this a grass weave. We see it in a couple of other kits as well. But this is a great color. Nice vibrant red. What do you think of that? And just solid. Move on. We've got a nice teal here with the little swirls. Again, as you look, you can see the fabric is just prepared for you, ready to go. And another teal flower. And you can see that we're working in color themes with this kit. We're in color themes for this kit. So these, of course, would be on the same star. We've got our golds here. Some gold flower. This is flower shower. Really nice fabric. We see it sometimes pop up in other kits that we offer. Another one here. White backed with gold green accents on the leaves and the foliage here. What are we thinking about the colors in this kit so far? Let me know in the comments. What are you thinking so far? Another flower shower, and then kind of a brush stroke leaf look. A couple of different looks here on the blues. All right. Another red in the flower shower. White and red. We'll break down. I want to show you a couple of things, and I want to show you some details here as soon as we get through the fabric. But folks like to see the fabric. I mean, that's the thing, right? You're ordering these kits, you see the pictures online. You can't come to the store and touch it, right? Because we're all not in the same place. But try to show off the fabric a little bit. Yeah, the colors are super, and there's just a lot of difference in the pattern. So as it comes into this kit, because it's a bigger block kit, it really gets to have its own personality. Another kind of a washed denim look here, which is similar to what's on the perimeter on your strips. Black plaid, I think that's always fun. Plaid and paisley, I think, those, we see those all the time, but they're just great standing, staples in our quilting. I think this is a great piece overall. Easy to access. Of course, who doesn't like the small polka dots? Again, I think it on camera it kind of jumps a little funny, but doggone, it's a dark, rich color. Dark, rich color. Yep. Yeah, Cynthia, thank you. Yeah, it is these are great. I mean, I just have so much fun looking and touching and feeling all the fabrics. And I'll tell you what, as I touch, this is not the fabric that I'm finding at my local craft store. This is quilt quality stuff here. And I can just tell you right now that going across here, front and back, that you've got a good quality piece of fabric in your hands. And then, of course, another teal blue family here. I'll pull that one up. This one's kind of washed in places as well, so there's a lot of contrast. It may not pick up very well on camera, but as you see the green, there's a darker area, lighter washed area. It's really cool. So it's soft and subtle, definitely great accent piece. And then, of course, gold, another gold that goes along with this one, the same family. Okay. All right. I'm going to move to the other side again for just a moment, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of these things. And I want to point out some details about the kit itself, because I think it warrants having the conversation, especially if you're not someone that does a lot of triangles. I think sometimes triangles can be a little bit daunting. And so I want to make sure that we spend some time talking about, I'm not high enough, there we go. Talking about some of these details and why they're there. So I'm going to grab, I think the gold was a good one to look at. I'm going to grab this one here. And one of the things you might notice if you're looking at it, I don't know if you can see it, it's not a perfect triangle. Okay? It's not a perfect triangle. Okay? And there's a total reason for that when we send these to you. We want to make sure that we're not forcing you to cut right away. Now, there's, of course, trimming that needs to be done as you start block assembly, or if you split a block to, fill out the edges, especially on half block stuff on the perimeters. But for the most part, we don't want you to need to cut. So you don't need to cut out of the bag. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And so one of the first instructions here in this kit is to make square half triangles. Okay, so you're basically making, so we're going into right away, and I want to point out some things there. Just give me a second. I just glitched my system for a moment. All right. How many of you type me if you are ever, challenged by triangles? If you're challenged by triangles, just say me or I or yes. If triangles sometimes get you. So one of the things, yeah, I was challenged by it too. And I'm not as proficient as a lot of you out there, but it sometimes is a little bit nerve-wracking to work with triangles. So I want to point out a few things on the pattern here. So when you get your pattern from us, you're getting a pattern as if you were going right to the store to buy the fabric. It'll tell you how much you need, what basic cuts you need to make before you get started. But if you look here, there are places here where it says, and I'm just going to zoom up for just a second. Can't leave the pattern on for too long for other reasons, but if it says here, if using a kit, you don't have to do the very first instructions. So always pay attention to that. In addition, there's a QR code and a link right here that kind of walks you through some of those tips and tricks that are helpful for this particular kit. Okay, so that is always there. So let's talk a little bit about triangles. So the first instruction, and it's one of the things I really love about this kit, is it's asking you to make 5.5 square half triangles. And so you're basically taking a white piece and a color piece of your larger triangles, and you're going to match them up. And you're going to get them matched up, and you're going to run them through the machine. Okay, so handy dandy machines over here, we won't break it out. But you would set it up. You would run your 1/4 inch seam. Whoops, I'm not in a good spot here. Let me fix that for you there. Okay, I am still here. I apologize. Yes, I fat fingered the end of that camera there and bumped a button I shouldn't have bumped. I do apologize, but we are back. Hopefully everyone can still hear me. But we were looking here at making this triangle. So we're taking these two triangles, one white, okay, and one of the color of the large triangles, and you're going to match them up, okay? You're going to match them up on these corners, okay? We're going to get them nice and squared up, okay? And then we're going to run our 1/4 inch seam on the long side, okay? And as I was mentioning, I'd normally run that on the machine, but the machine's over here, but we just run the 1/4 inch seam right down the line here, okay? I know it moved a little bit on us, but in the end, we're just doing this. We're running that seam right through here, okay? We're running that seam right through here, okay? And then we're just simply going to unfold it. Now, what you notice here is if we had done that with completely perfect edge-to-edge triangles, right, you would have little butterflies on each end here on both sides that you would need to square up. You would have those butterflies because you have that extra fabric that was right here. So I'm going to bring that up to you. Hopefully we can get it lined up for you. But that triangle would have extended out here. So by doing that, by sending you that already trimmed off at the corners, okay, when you unfold, you're not looking at a large volume of fabric in your corners. Okay, so when we're going to press that thing out, you're not going to have that extra fabric in the corners, and you've got a nice square. Now for this kit, you're just going to do 80 of these. You've got 80 pieces of fabric right here of the colored fabric that we just went through. You have 80 of the big white triangles, everything squared off. You're just going to make 80 of those, right? And that's kind of how this kit goes together. Okay, so having those trimmed off for you at the beginning is super helpful, and that's why I get a lot of questions. Well, how come my corners aren't sharp? Well, this is why, so that you don't have to come back and trim. This makes it go so much faster. Okay, all right, and so let's look at another one. So another step in here, again, working with these odd shapes sometimes. Okay, working with these odd shapes sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge, but we're still doing the exact same process. We still have that corner cut off for you. Same thing on your small triangle. Okay. right side together, and once we get her squared up, we would set up the machine, set up to go to the machine, and we would run that 1/4 inch seam allowance from here to here. Okay, from here to here. And again, what you get at the end, remember we went 1/4 inch seam from here to here. You open it up and you are square again, and you don't have anything extra, and then you still have your 1/4 inch, and you will lose this little bit, you'll lose that little bit when you assemble. And you're going to do 80 of these. And then you're going to take these 80 and you're going to match them up so that these points, you're going to have one here, and you're going to have one over here. And of course, I don't have the right size, but it'd be here, but you would have something that looks like that. And that takes care of one of your stars. So it's super straightforward. I really wanted to point that out as a tip and a trick. And also, if you're considering buying this, the fact that these triangles are already set for you and ready to go gets you that perfect square. And then the assembly is pretty simple. And the nice thing is you get your fabric and you sort it by color theme or by color, and then you start putting it together. You can use the attached, the enclosed coloring sheet if you need to. The coloring sheet for you to map it out if you don't want to follow the actual pattern itself. But again, this is one of those things where you can make it your own because you have the patterns and you have the fabric to complete this. So if you wanted to move your reds around, or you wanted to create a light and a dark side or a perimeter or anything like that, you totally do that. All right, so what are we thinking about this kit? This is a new one that we released out earlier. It's kind of cool, I think. It's a cool kit. It's a little more traditional. And it's away from the blocks, which give us that kind of those triangles and blocks and stars, which I really like. Someone pointed out they thought it could also be, you take the pattern after you're done, and you could totally take the pattern and you could create a quilt of valor just by shopping for your own things. It's really, really straightforward. I really like it. And yes, Lori, thank you for your comment. Yeah, don't quilt even sew, but you could do this. I think so. I mean, I'm self-taught on the sewing machine. I don't have a ton of quilts to my name, but just matching these things up, following the great instructions that we have in our kits, allow you to get from start to finish really, really fast. And the good news is, from the very beginning, and I think that's probably the one thing that is the biggest peace of mind, right? Is I know that this is the right size. We use very precise process to make sure that when we send this to you, you're not getting things that are all squirrely like this one here. You're not going to get something that isn't right. You're going to get the right cut, the right size, okay, for your fabric, for your kit, and you know that it's going to go together for you. Okay. All right. We are moving right along. I am open to answer any questions that you have. I'm going to kind of move some things around here and kind of clear the space, but I can always come back to anything if you have the quilt. Okay. If not, remember, you can always reach out to me. My email address is customer care, just all one word, customer care. Okay. I want to type that into chat. Okay. If you have a question or you need something, type here. That is my email address, and you can reach out. Okay, and I'll do my very best to help you through the process. Just a reminder that with your kit, you always get your binding and your backing fabric. The only thing that we do not ship is the batting inside, because we want you to be able to choose that, and it's big and bulky and doesn't ship very well. All right, I want to show a couple other things. Just a reminder, it's again finished quilt here. This is the Morning Glory, and I'm going to slide the machine just a little bit so we can get a little more room so you can see this a little bit better. Got the Morning Glory kit. Okay. move us down for a second, just a little angle so you can see. Another one of our wonderful kits. This is a very special kit. We released it on May 1st. We've only made 1,000. There is a limited edition. 1,000 kits are being made. A percentage of the proceeds are going to the Hospice Promise Foundation. Okay. Okay. It's currently on sale on the website at $148.97. Okay. It's 67 inches by 77 inches in size. So again, another throw, but 2 would make a queen, 3 would make a king. And I just love the fabric on this one too. Another contrasting, this is using our prairie flower fabric here and some of our flower shower fabric here. Just super nice contrast. Really easy one to get together. Again, we're working in squares here. We're just running them on diagonal when we assemble and trimming to finish. Great perimeters. I'm going to pop this back up. Try to hold this one up one time for us here, or at least half of it. But here she is. Just a great quilt. Super easy to get together. And this one's on sale at $148.97. It is very popular. This one will sell out fairly soon. We are moving through them quickly. Again, there's only 1,000 of these being made. Okay. All right. What questions can I answer today? Any questions? Love to answer any questions you might have. Just checking my notes here before we finish up. I have a couple of things to share here at the end, and then we'll wrap this one up. We try to keep this one under 40 minutes, but I'll stay as long as someone has questions. Again, we're going to be talking a little bit about the gift card in just a moment. Next thing on the agenda, I always like to share what's going on in our industry. Again, we're about promoting our hobby, letting you know where things are. The Sisters, Oregon. So I'm in the Pacific Northwest. So Sisters, Oregon is near Bend, Oregon, if you've heard of that area. Has an annual quilt show, and that one is on Saturday, July 13th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the city of Sisters. Now, what's happening is today was the deadline. I think at 2 o'clock today was the deadline to get your quilts turned in for those who are showing, but there will be 1,000 quilts hung throughout the town, and it will be one of the larger shows. And so I will be there. I will be there on Saturday, and I'll be taking the festivities. We might do a scavenger hunt or find me for a special promotion if you happen to be there. So if you are planning on attending, drop us a note. I put the email address in there. But be looking for some additional. Maybe I can go live while I'm there walking through the town. It's a beautiful place. If you've never traveled to Central Oregon or to the West Coast, it is a beautiful place. Snow-capped mountains in the background, elk roaming around, deer running through town. It's a beautiful place. So that is coming up. Also want to point out in August, Scottsdale, Arizona has the Quilt Craft and Sew. We'll talk a little bit more about that in an upcoming show. Wisconsin has one in September. And of course, the World Quilt Show is in Houston this year at the end of the month. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. All right. So Renee says she purchased 2 kits. Awesome. Can't believe. Yeah. Well, that's the beautiful thing, Renee, about the kits. You get them, you get right to sewing. You don't have to worry about all those cuts. I was doing a count. One of the kits had 386 pieces. And I was like, who wants to cut that? After getting into quilts, I mean, yes, I'll do those for the special quilts that I want to make, but gosh, I don't have to cut it. What a deal, right? All right, let's finish things up. If you have questions, keep dropping those in. There are a handful of us in here. Looks like we'll rock and roll here. All right, let's talk about the gift card. All right, we've got a gift card that we'll be giving away for the viewers of the show. So live and recording, we want to make sure this first one's fair for everybody. So what will happen here is you will comment the word sparkle into the chat. You will just have to comment sparkle, the word sparkle, since we're 4th of July. comment that into the chat for us. And then on Friday morning at 9 a.m., I'll go back through the chat and we will run a randomizer for all of those folks who commented Sparkle in the chat. And the winner, I will send you I will reach out to you with an email or a notice here on Facebook or on YouTube. I'll comment directly to you with how you can get your gift card. We'll make sure we get the right one there, get the right address, we'll get the right email contact for you, and we will send you a digital gift card to be used on our website. So super excited about that. Again, this is the first time we've been able to do a giveaway. The giveaways, as we continue to grow and more people attend, feel free to click and share. Even if they didn't watch live, that growth continues as we let this run for a couple of days on recording. So continue to share. Let's continue to grow this. Again, new quilt. I've got another one inbound for our next show, which is in 2 weeks from today, and a third, which is a new release coming in for the first week of August. So new stuff is right in the pipeline. It's stacking up. They're getting the kits to me. We're breaking them down, making sure we understand them, and then we're selling them and getting them out to you. And I love offering the special price while we're here together. Again, I'm going to drop into chat the page for, my cat just hit the tripod, scared me a little bit. There is the link for the pages. So if you want to get the kit that we showed, the Kaleidoscope, for $148, you can absolutely do that through that link. It's good for about 24 hours. Also, if you are interested in any other kit, we do have a handful of them on sale right now on the website, ready to go. Renee, if you ever have North cut fabric, we typically don't buy lines of fabric to sell. Most of the time, when we are going to make a quilt, we will buy or have designed the fabric that we want. So we're not going out and getting things from other vendors very often, or we will get only 1 or 2 pieces. So we don't carry lines of fabric. We don't sell fabric by the yard on the website. We do sell the charm packs and the fat quarters and the strips and the rolls and the layer cakes and things like that. But we don't typically buy deep. So that's a great question, though, because we do get that quite a bit. All right. Any other questions before we wrap up today? So a lot of sparkles. I do appreciate it. If you haven't dropped your location, just write down, type in your state. Again, our goal. And I'm working on a special giveaway for that one when we get all 50 states. So please drop in your where you're watching from, your state, so that we can get there. There's an Oregon in there. New York. Yes, last stream we were a little over 30 total states. So we're getting closer. Can't wait. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. All right. Any more questions before we go? Wisconsin, awesome. All right, I do appreciate you joining me. This is always a fun time for me, just talking and sharing quilts. Again, we talked today about the Kaleidoscope Stars quilt and all the wonderful fabrics and how easy it is to work with. It's a great kit. Again, $148 through the link I shared into chat. Please take a look if you're interested and take a look at that. If that's not your cup of tea, remember, there are so many. And if you are a beginner, and you are not comfortable or confident yet, remember, Prairie Blossoms, Cozy Snowman, all of them use this brick version, has a brick version. This is the Prairie one I'm working on. I have 27 of these sewn, and I just have to start the assembly on the long stitch. Just got to stitch and seam and press these. That one is on the kit, is on sale right now as well. So if you're just starting out, highly recommended, super fun, super easy, straightforward instructions, gives you lots of confidence getting started, okay? Renee, yes, at customercare@thefabrichut.com is my email address. I get a handful of emails of finished quilts sent in, their pictures sent in every day. We are delighted to see those. They're super fun. So we absolutely do that. And we're hoping to start creating a monthly post that showcases all the kits that got finished during that month. So I'm super excited to roll that out. I think we're targeting that for August. So we're still in the process of figuring out how that's going to look and permissions and all those things. We just have to double check. So, all right. So we saw a lot of folks commenting at the end. Yeah, Watertown, New York, Rita, Wisconsin, Lake George, New York. Thank you, Taffy, for joining us. Rita, Lori, thank you. Judith Curtis got her entry in. Remember, Sparkle is your comment to be entered in for the gift card. Judith is asking, do you have a walk-in store? No, we do not. We are strictly online. We've been in business since 2018, but we are strictly online. It would be really hard to have a store, or I think the desire would be to have too many stores. So right now we don't. And because we ship all over the world, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, the UK, Germany, it's just too hard to try to find the perfect place to have a store. So we are completely online right now, but we ship fast, and we're always here for you. And again, when you reach out, you get me, and I'll take care of you as best I can, okay? All right, with that, we are at the 40-minute mark. I will wait one more minute for questions, but we will wrap this up and call this a successful show. I do appreciate you being here. Again, those of you who are watching on Facebook and on YouTube, appreciate you being here. We may expand to a couple of other platforms here in the near future. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate it. Always love hearing that. Happy with the service you got. I hope that you, continue to have that. I hope you continue to be a loyal customer and a member of our community. Again, you don't have to buy to be part of our community. But if something matches up with what you want and what you need, we're happy to service you. Okay. All right. As we count down, I wish you a very happy 4th of July if you are in the United States and celebrating that. Summertime, lots going on. Just a reminder, as we hit July, we're now on the downhill side towards Christmas. So if you need to start your Christmas projects now, this is a good time to start. I know that I'm thinking about my Christmas gift list and all my handmade crafts that I need to complete, and I'm thinking I need to get started here pretty soon. So just a reminder that we are in July now. Christmas in July is a real thing. That means we're halfway to home. So have a great one. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Look forward to the emails. Appreciate you being here. Have a great one. Goodbye.